Okay, Wednesday night, November 23rd, 2011. Our regular class, we've been doing different writings, excerpts from different teshuvot regarding the role of a rabbi. What the rabbi is supposed to do, not supposed to do, how people are supposed to, act towards the rabbi and react towards the rabbi's gestures, etc. But we should have really started much early on, and that's what we want to come back to tonight. Look at what Rambam says in Mishneh Torah about how we have to respect the rabbi and what the rabbi is supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to view his actions. So we're going to look at Sefer HaMad'a, Hilchot Talmud Torah, Perek Hamishi. א' כשם שהאדם מסווה בכבוד אביו וביראתו, כך הוא חייב בכבוד רבו ויראתו. ורבו יותר מאביו, שאביו הביאו לחיי העולם הזה, ורבו שלמדו חוכמה מביאו לחיי העולם הבא. So, it's a very powerful statement how Rambam opens up. Same way a person is commanded to honor, to respect his father with awe, he's also obligated to respect his rabbi and have the same awe and fear of him. Again, we're running into this concept though of his rabbi. What is his rabbi? Who is his rabbi? Hopefully we'll get someplace with that. And his rabbi even more so than his father, because his father only brought him into this world. But the rabbi that's teaching him Chokhmah, notice I didn't say teaching him Torah, teaching him Chokhmah brings him to Olam Haba. ראה עבד אביו ועבד רבו של רבו קודם של אביו. His father lost something, his rabbi lost something. He has to go out searching, in a sense, for his rabbi's missing item first. אביו ורבו נושאים ממסע, מניח את של רבו ואחר כך את של אביו. Again, rabbi is coming first. אביו ורבו שיבויים ושביה, פולד רבו. His father and his rabbi both held captive. They're both in prison. They've both been ambushed, whatever the case may be. He has to go and save his rabbi first, before his father. Okay, but his father was what we know today as a rabbi, okay, or a Talmid Hacham, but as you notice how Rambam calls Talmid Hachamim, because you are not a student of one person, you're a student of many. In that case, you save your father first.
This version has Chacham.
Yes, we know.
I'm just letting you know.
No, it's very, very well known that the common printings right, of Harambam, the ones that were generally done in Poland, do not have a more exact text following the manuscripts of Rambam. וכן, אם היה אביו חכם, אף על פי שאינו שקול כנגד רבו, okay, if his father is a hacham, and even though you can't really say that they're on the same level, his father and his rabbi, meshib abidato v'harkat meshib abid rabbo. But since his father is hacham, then he puts his father first. If something's lost, he goes out and gets his father's lost item first. And there is no greater honor than the kabod of the rabbi. And there's no fear. Obviously we're not talking about scary fear, we're talking about a fear of awe, greater than that of the rabbi. The Hachamim said, now Hachamim obviously they're maybe a little biased over here, okay?
I was about to say.
Alright, okay, the fear of your rabbi is Kimura Shamayim, like the fear of heaven.
Should we translate the hint? Rab is master?
Rab is master, yes, but we know because we're in Talmud Torah, we know we're talking about a rabbi. That's why I'm translating it as rabbi.
Like his exclusive, like rabbi is very generic, so that's why I'm saying it. His exclusive teacher, the martial arts teacher, is his master,
Right.
Exclusive
Sensei.
teachers. Yeah. Sensei.
Well, Rab is a very generic term also, isn't it?
Right. Wait.
Rab is a generic term as well.
Was it in his time?
Right, so then how do you want to go about
No, I'm just
looking
saying.
at the word? No, I understand the point that both of you are bringing up, but how would you go about this, talking about it and just using a simple one-liner or one-worder? You want to say master.
Yeah.
Okay, master, so...
Master Chokhmah. Yeah, the one you.
Okay, so now let's say I went and I found a silversmith. And I learned his trade from him. Okay, is he the Rabbi that we're talking about over here?
No, the master he learns Torah from.
Okay, so that's a rabbi.
Oh.
In common terms, in lay terms for today's day and age, for 2011, rabbi. I would think.
I don't know. Everybody.
Tell me if I'm wrong or it doesn't.
No,
seem
but we
to
can't
make
look
sense.
at it from.
I have simicha. I don't look. People call me rabbi, but I'm not a rab, I'm not a chacham. So whatever. I just like to differentiate between the term rabbi and I don't know. We should maybe use the word chacham.
No,
you're chacham. Or
no. That's why he even mentioned a chacham.
right.
Okay. Okay. There's a difference between a chacham and the rabbi. Okay, in this case it's his rabbi. Okay, his one particular guy.
Okay.
But then again,
It's exclusive rabbi.
right, so now we brought this up last week and the week before. Do people really have a rabbi? There are some people that do, but do most of us have such a thing?
Yeah.
You say yeah, David, tell me.
Everyone
Explain.
has to have a rabbi they go to.
Who's
They have
your rabbi?
questions. But
Who's your rabbi?
What kind of question? Probably my uncle.
Well, what do you mean, what kind of question? Do
Is
you
he
have
your rabbi
a
or
rabbi,
my
your rabbi, my one guy?
No, maybe he was right. Maybe it does depend on the
We
question. It
shouldn't-
depends on the topic.
What about an absolute definition of a rabbi today?
Rambam defines it.
Where?
Where does it say? In
Well, I don't think that's a fair question because
Okay.
you saw over the last couple of weeks different rabbis had a definition of what a rabbi is.
Okay.
Very good.
So obviously there's no one clear-cut definition.
Fair enough.
And we've read paragraphs.
Yes.
It's not one word or one line. So go back and listen to the recording.
You're right.
So this is more about your rabbi or any rabbi?
Your rabbi so far. Like in your case, probably your rabbi is Rabbi Joey's way.
Okay.
Okay? So that's
Or is it in any rabbi that I learnt with?
doesn't seem to be that way from over here.
Do you have to choose one?
Do you? That's a good question. Do
Why
you?
does it have to be one? Is
Rabbi
Rab-
Aluf not my rabbi?
Is he? I'm asking you. I don't know if he's your rabbi or not. I can't answer for you who your rabbi is.
I think Rambam says that he defines it. Is who Rabbo? Mishu Rov Chokhmato. The one you learn most of your Chokhmah.
Most of your Chokhmah.
The majority of your Chokhmah, he is your Rav.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he write that?
Was it more of a rabbi of a town, like
No, he
more or
didn't
less?
Back then they had that. Not that anymore.
write that.
But we don't have that
That's when he's
nowadays.
writing it. That's when he's writing it.
It's
Why we're having
not,
this discussion, but it was
But
difficult to.
Not everybody had books. Not everybody had libraries.
Defined.
They barely had anything.
No,
They
no,
had,
no.
You know,
Only by Korea Big Adav he tells you that.
For
He
what?
tells you that who's your Rabbo. The Rabbo Mubhak Shelamad Mimenu Rabat. That's in regard to Yidu Kiriyah when he dies.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that applies to.
Well, let's see. Let's wait and see if if we get up to it or not.
Okay.
Okay. לפיכך, אמרו החכמים, כל החולק על רבו כחולק על השכינה. Anybody who argues against his rabbi is like he's arguing with the Shekhinah. שנאמר בהסותם על אדוני. וכל העושה מריבה עם רבו, anybody who creates an argument or a fight with his rabbi, כעושה עם השכינה. Like he's doing that with the Shekhinah. שנאמר אשר רבו בני ישראל אדוני. וכל המתרעם על רבו, anybody who raises his voice in a sense, כמתרעם על השכינה. שנאמר לא עלינו חלונותיכם כי על אדוני. וכל המהרהר אחר רבו כמהרהר אחר השכינה. שנאמר לדבר העם באלוהים משה. again, who is his rabbi? What defines his rabbi? We still don't have a clear-cut answer. And do you need to have one rabbi? Again, there's no answer to that I've seen that tells us with 100% certainty. Yes? No? Anybody?
Just everybody uses the Mishnah in Avot.
The Mishnah doesn't seem to be talking about
No,
that at all.
Yeah, but that's what they use.
That's what they use, but prior to a couple of hundred years ago, you don't find that.
That explanation.
No.
What's that? What explanation? Are you referring? What explanation are you referring to?
I say the Charab. You have to have one rabbi.
Doesn't say Rabbi anyway.
No. Don't say that.
I said Harambam's explanation is that you.
And the way they make it,
But who says you have to have one rabbi because of that statement?
That's what they said.
that's
yeah.
the common way it's taught.
Interpretation?
They make it very, very definitive and obligatory.
That you need it. Yeah.
It's a necessity in life. And your rabbi isn't just somebody you learn from. It's somebody that you follow blindly for anything and everything. That's the way they make it out nowadays. B. إذ حولك على ربه זה שקובע לו מדרש ויושב ודורש ומלמד שלא ברשות רבו ורבו קיים אף על פי שרבו במדינה אחרת ואסור לאדם להורו בפני רבו לעולם לכל המורה הלכת בפני רבו חייב מיתה. This is a very, very powerful halakha if you think about it. What do we do? What's called hodek al rabbo? Okay, arguing against your rabbi. You establish for yourself a midrash, and you sit, and you speak, and you teach without your rabbi's permission. And your rabbi is alive. And even if your rabbi is in a different locale, a different city, a different state, a different country, it makes no difference. And it is forbidden for a person to give to give his teachings in front of his rabbi forever, at any place, at any time. And anybody who is moreh halacha, who teaches halacha in his rabbi's presence, hayab mita, death. Now, nowadays we see all these quote-unquote yeshivas, and they have yeshivas, and they have students, and they have teachers, and each one of them becomes supposedly something big, and they're all giving classes, and they're all teaching, and they're all disseminating, their words of Torah. Some of them are doing it within the same four walls of the yeshiva. Some of them are doing it in the same town, in the same city. Many of them are doing it via the internet, or giving out CDs or tapes. And the rabbi is Kayyam, the yeshiva is Kayyam.
He gives him permission.
Does he?
Obviously.
What obviously? Where's the obviously?
He's teaching them for them to go teach others. Common sense.
He's giving. I don't think it's common sense at all.
It's like the Borg, yeah. That's what they want.
I'm going to go teach 100 people.
No, it's about. It is
and they
about
can't teach someone else?
anyway.
Doesn't make sense.
No, they're happy with that when they do that, though.
Happy or not happy? That's not what Harambam is saying the halacha is.
No, but their rabbis want them to go
Kind of
out.
presents them more like you're doing other things against the rabbi, or teaching away away
that's
from. That's it sounds more like that.
That is different.
That's not what he's saying.
That's totally. Yeah. Again, what Harambam is saying and what you're thinking are two totally different things.
Permission then.
Permission.
Can you have any insight into the?
No, I don't have.
Halacha?
No, I don't. David, you have the case of Mishnah over there. Did it say anything? תלמיד אל יורה אלא אם כן נטל רשות מרבו פרטניה תוהתם من الكسر كيف تلميذ أل يره الأخاب من ربو إلا אם כן هي رحوق منه שלוש פרסאות כנגד מחנה ישראל. אוקיי? שלוש פרסאות.
Mile?
You have your things. Well, how big is a parsa? Come on, you have your toys over there, people.
That's my phone.
Ask your phone.
I don't
Talk to
I don't
it.
go to the phone for details.
Parsa? You think he's gonna know what a parsa is?
He doesn't know anything else. I yelled at the phone 10 times. I said,
You talk to Siri?
yeah.
So what do you want me to ask
I have
Siri? How
Iris.
big is a parsa?
What is the distance of a parsa?
What is the distance of a parsa?
What's a mile?
I'm
Let's
shocked.
do that. On Shabbat when we're doing the...
Parsa is not- I don't remember parsa being
It says, what is the distance of the pasta?
That's pretty big pasta.
Google it.
هيا بينه وبين ربه 20 عصار ميل. So now between you and your rabbi, you have 20 عصار ميل, which is the same 3 parsaot that we talked about.
Right, 11.
Correct?
Right, 12. Right, yep.
If we read a little bit,
That's
we're going to break our heads. ושאל לו אדם דבר הלכה. And now somebody asked him halacha, mutar le'hashiv. So now you're allowed to answer because that distance is between you and your rabbi of the 3 parsaot. ולהפריש מן האיסור אפילו בפני רבו מותר להורות. And to turn somebody away from doing something asur, from doing something forbidden, or contracting something forbidden, or eating something forbidden, even in front of your rabbi, you can give the halakha to somebody to prevent them from doing something he's not allowed to do. Kesal. For example, you saw a person doing something forbidden. Maybe because he didn't know what's forbidden, or because he's evil. You have to try to find a way to stop him from doing it and tell him this is haram. And even if it's in front of his rabbi. Now, how come the rabbi didn't tell him? We don't know. And even if his rabbi didn't give him permission. Anytime you could enter into a position of Hilul Hashem, we don't care about the rabbi's honor. We care about the honor of Shamayim first, about the Torah.
That's the answer to his question. About the...
About what?
honor me and not your father.
Okay.
That's a Hilul Hashem.
That's right.
Okay, we're talking about a perchance case, something that happens to happen. But to establish yourself, to give rulings, and to sit and to rule and to teach to anybody and answer questions to anybody who asks, even if you're the end of the world, okay, and your rabbi is not at the end of the world, you're not allowed to teach and to answer the questions until your rabbi dies, unless you got permission from the rabbi. David, nothing to say?
That's all, is it?
What? You don't like it?
No.
Okay. I think it's just amazing how Harambam writes. I think it's so beautiful how he could take so much history of halacha and how the Hachamim discuss things in the Gemara, and how he was able to piece together the lifestyles of the Hachamim and the Yeshivot and bring it all together into a few simple lines of halacha and say it with such conviction. It's amazing. We haven't had anybody since Harambam that can do the same thing. Every book that's out there on the market, there's another guy that says, I can do it better, I can make another book, I can do a re-editing and come out with a better way for people to understand it better. Nobody has yet even attempted to come out with a better Mishneh Torah. Think about it. There's nothing like it.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And it's Harambam, and we all argue for them. What bunch of idiots.
It's life. Gotta argue with everybody.
No, but think,
It's
not really. Think this guy puts out a book. I could do it better. I could do this. I could do that. I don't like his book. That's why we have libraries full of books. Rambam, there's not one copycat version of Rambam that I'm aware of, at least. Not in abridged form of Rambam, not a easier language form of Rambam. Nothing. Doesn't exist.
They're all more lengthy. They're all more lengthy.
They're all much more lengthy because they all need to try to work explanations into Rambam, and then they all argue with each other because each one thinks they understand Rambam better than the next guy.
Yeah, but you could take him a lot of times. You could take him different ways. There is issues with him, his writings.
I disagree. There really aren't.
What do you mean issues?
It's too concise. Maybe he meant this. Maybe he meant that.
Ambiguities? Yeah, but you're going to have that.
Huh?
You only had a certain amount of ink back then.
I'm just telling you. So you're talking about the bad, the good part of that. It's also a bad part in it.
No one wants to read a book this thick. If you can carry this around, that's all you need. That's what he says. That's what he says.
That's what it says.
Only one volume.
Rambam said, I am writing this to replace everything.
Talmud, right.
Only $50. It's a great item to have.
It says 60.
Sion gave him a discount.
Give me that one.
Sion sells it?
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah. That's because I went to McCord 55.
McCord didn't have one. I got it from Michael's when it first came in. Alright. ולא כל מי שמת רבו מותר לו להישב ולראות בתורה. And not anybody, okay, my rabbi died, now I can sit and teach and give halakha. إلا אם כן היה תלמיד שהגיע להוראה. Only those students that achieve that level of hora'ah, of teaching and giving over the law.
This is like he's establishing himself as a posek. Like,
yeah,
it's not just somebody comes to one of us and they ask us a question. Okay, we'll look at Harambam Maran. This is like a posek. Someone comes.
But the problem is, once somebody starts answering questions, they turn themselves into all types of things, and they may not know all the details and all the answers, and they may not even have gone through basic 4 volumes of Shulchan Aruch, and they'll sit there and they'll go into their own sevara, just give answers left and right. And it does happen.
Yalkut Yosef.
No, I'm talking about straight.
No, not even Yalkut Yosef.
No, they'll know Yalkut Yosef.
They won't even know all of Yalkut Yosef. No, I'm serious, and it does happen. And it's not something unknown. Rabbis come and, you're a rabbi, I'm going to ask him a question. People ask me questions, okay, let me just give answers. Right. People just do it, because they don't want to look like they don't know something. So they'd rather give an answer than say, I'm not sure, or go ask somebody else, or I have to look it up. And they could many times end up giving you the wrong answer. That's a fact.
Beautiful question.
Yeah, and beautiful question, and where's the beautiful answer?
Thanks.
No, that's a serious problem that exists. תלמיד שלא הגיע להוראה ומורה, הרי זה שוטה, רשע וגס רוח. מעליו נאמר כי רבים חללים הפילה. And every student who has not attained the level of hora'ah, but he goes out and he teaches anyway, and he rules for the people. This guy is an idiot. He's evil. He's full of himself. Okay?
But how do we...
Yeah,
how do we what?
How do we calculate?
Calculate what?
God does.
If he has a hora'ah or not. Yeah.
His rabbi has to decide if he's up to that level.
His rabbi has to decide.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
I don't think it's a rough one at all.
Another rough one.
There's not many people that can give hora'ah, that can give really pesach halacha. How many people do you know?
Why are you guys saying it's a rough one though?
It's not. It's pretty simple. It's pretty clear cut in the generation who's a posek.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Can you name a few?
The problem is that nowadays they tell you, well, I have simicha, it's good enough. That's the problem. Okay, so that's why the way of the Sephardi Hachamim until a very short time ago, there was no such thing as getting simicha. You studied and you studied and you studied, and if the Hacham saw that there's a chance that you are worthy of being, a Hacham, when he would receive she'elot, he would give the she'elot to you, answer them.
Train you.
Answer the she'elah. Take it, go write it to Shuvah. You finish writing it, bring it to me. He likes it. It's good. He gives you another couple, till he decides, you'll get me v'sevir, you know exactly what to do. That's it. You're a Hacham. Go. Do what you have to do. That's the way it was done. You didn't get a piece of paper, you didn't get a diploma, you didn't get, Yoreh, Yadin, Yadin, all these wonderful titles that they give you. The Hacham said, okay. And that was it. And that's the way it was done.
You don't think it's better now with the system now?
I think today's system is terrible. Because simicha nowadays, what does it entail?
But that just has to be fixed up.
What does simicha
that
today
system in
entail,
general
David?
is a much better system.
Isur ve'heter, that's it.
That's all you need.
All you need is Isur ve'heter.
Exactly.
And that's your common simicha. Right, exactly. You know nothing about Ora Hayim at all. But then you get a simicha of Chot Shabbat. After that, you get a simicha of Nida. After that, you can even get a simicha. I don't know if they have there's no separate kashut one, no. And then they have one now, a new one, simicha of Abilut. That's it. These are the simichot that they have on the market nowadays.
Okay.
Different. So what's that?
So you go follow the guy that has the most of those. That's
not even a quarter of anything.
You're gonna hide
David, Isur ve'heter. How many simanim we're talking about? Maximum of 80 simanim over there.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's nothing.
It's less than that.
I know it's less, but if you want to stretch it to the max, you can stretch it all the way up to Pebet, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Okay, I'm saying if you want to stretch it all the way.
If you did all the milicha.
Yeah, exactly. And
you did shahida.
Exactly. I'm saying if you want to stretch it from Aleph until Pebet. Okay? Then you have...
That's why. By the time they learned all that, that's why you had one rabbi in the whole town. It took him 40 years to learn all this stuff. He became the rabbi, and that's why you can't follow him.
You can learn all of that in a few months, David. You can learn it all in a few months.
Of everything.
Aleph to Pebet, you can learn it in a few months.
Yeah.
If you concentrate on it, and that's what you put your mind to, you can do it. You tell yourself, okay, here I am. I'm 18 years old. I'm going to be a rabbi. I can do it. You sit there and you study it and you go through the case and you refer it to Gemara and you come back to Rambam, you check out the Reef, check out the Rosh, you go back to the tour, go to the Beit Yosef. You could do it in a few months. Mm-hmm. Diligent study 12 hours a day. It's not a problem to do it, David.
To you it's not.
Yeah, now, no, it's not true. If you said that's what I want to do, my Lord. And you're a serious student, you can do it. It's not the... And then what? So then the next guy goes, okay, I did that, now I'm going to go do a semicha test in the Chot Shabbat.
It's good.
Okay? Chot Shabbat technically is probably even more difficult.
100%.
Okay? And there's more simanim.
Right.
Okay? So that's your second semicha. And then your third semicha, you go for the Chot Nidah. And your fourth semicha is the Chot Abilut. And that's it. I don't know, are there any other semicha other than those four?
Choshen Mishpat.
Choshen Mishpat is if you want to become a dayan. That's a whole different thing. But I'm saying, regular semichas that are out there on the market, are there any other than those four?
But who decided that it had to be those four topics?
This is what the yeshiva world made up.
Where, when, and why, and how?
So, yes, the way that the Sephardi Hachamim had it, I think was better, because you don't know what kind of question is coming to you from where. And here's the question.
But that's why you only had one Chacham per town. There's only one guy can handle all that stuff.
That's not true. They had many more Hachamim.
But it also makes more sense, because think of the intimacy between the student and the teacher. Think about how the teacher's protecting Am Yisrael and the Torah when he knows that his student is worthy of being somebody to continue the Torah, to be in charge of Torah Shabbat Peh, the Misorah.
Right.
That's a good system, as opposed to passing a test where, A lot of people could pass the test. I knew guys in college didn't go to class all semester to pass tests.
It was 2 years ago. Israeli kid, 13 or 14-year-old kid. He went for the Simicha test. Chief Rabbi happened to walk in and said, "No, he's too young to take the test." What do you mean too young to take the test? I'm taking the test. There's no law that says I can't take the test. The whole big thing in court about it and everything.
Really?
In Israel?
In Israel, it was a whole big thing. And the kid supposedly was like very, very smart, and he took the test. He passed the test. The rabbi said, "You can pass whatever you test from the chief rabbinate. We are not giving you, a piece of paper until you reach the age of 18. I don't care how what you studied."
I didn't see that in the New York Post.
Thank God I haven't seen the New York Post in years. No, but the point is, the test is worthless. But that comment from the rabbi
you need a lot of teachers.
even proves it that it's worthless.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's not about
I'm not telling you it's worthless. You got to be at least 18 to understand people. I'm not telling you it's worthless.
But these people, most of these people that take...
He's not telling you it's worthless at all.
Don't work with people at all. They have no interaction with people. They don't know anything outside the four walls of the yeshiva.
Guy who has good Hebrew can study Isur V'Heter in a year and get it done. Get the Simicha good enough. He'll know it well enough to do a Simicha. It's not so...
And you could have your typical Israeli that is not even interested in halakha whatsoever, and he could study, take the test. And so what does that mean now? You can't just, relegate it to just another subject. I'm taking a test and pass it. That's it.
There's an organization giving Simicha out. I think it's from Lakewood. They're giving it out online, and the students don't need to know Hebrew.
Well, didn't Ricky do that?
I
don't mean it's a joke. I really heard that he did something online. He did Simicha online. Maybe it's maybe people are just joking about him.
No, I know somebody from Florida that did that. He doesn't understand, can't read a pasuk, can't understand it. But they're giving him Simicha because everything's in English. They have the whole program in English and English test, and that's it.
Interesting.
You think so?
Yeah.
Sickening is one like
Sickening.
It's crazy.
Alright, let's continue.
Quarter. Oh, it's on?
It's on. וכן חכם שהגיע להוראה ואין מורה הרי זה מונע תורה ונותן מכשולו לפני העברים ועליו נאמר ועשויים כל הרוגיה. Any חכם he has attained the level of hora'ah and he does not teach and he does not answer people's questions. This person is preventing Torah. He is stopping the Torah from being spread out among the people, from progressing in the world. And he is putting stumbling blocks in front of the blind.
These halachot are amazing.
Yeah.
It's like really, but it teaches this last part. It really teaches you that the halacha is for the am. It's not about the individual.
No.
It's about the am. It's about the Torah.
But that's what we saw. If you think about everything we read from all the different rabbis over the last 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
They all pointed to the same thing. The rabbi's job is to do what? To teach. The number one thing that the rabbi has to do is teach Torah. Spread Torah to the masses. Find a way of teaching them Torah shebichtav, Torah sheba'al peh.
Versus what? I mean, what would their other priorities be?
Versus what? Versus getting honor. Versus being a marriage counselor. Versus being anything.
Because to you and to me or to anybody here, I would think teaching would be the.
But most of the
number one
do most
priority.
of the rabbis spend most of their day teaching?
No.
In this community or any other community in the world?
Never.
Do most of the rabbis spend most of the time teaching?
No.
Technically, every rabbi that we know should have classes, classes every morning and every night, at the very least.
Anyone going to Marky's class in the morning? 7:30 in the morning?
7 o'clock. 6:40.
You don't even know what time it is.
Huh?
6:50.
No. But
So far,
think about it, David.
It doesn't register.
It's I'm only by default.
Hey, let's go building by building. We'll start on every day. Does Rabbi Eisenkot teach every morning and every night?
Every morning,
No.
yes. He's teaching every
I said
morning.
every morning and every night.
Night.
Nights only?
No,
Only?
he doesn't teach at night.
Okay.
Not at all. He used to.
Okay. Let's go. Next. Bnei Yosef. Does Rabbi Ben Oliel teach every morning and every night? No. We'll go now to Abba. Does Rabbi Eluk teach every morning and every night?
Did you send this?
No.
14-year-old.
Does Rabbi Shammah teach every morning and every night? No.
Definitely not.
Does Rabbi Eli Mansell teach every morning and every night?
Yes.
Yes.
Not every night. As far as I know, it's not every night.
As far as I know, it is.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So good for him.
I would
He's doing
think
something right.
yes. I would think yes.
Does Rabbi Maselson teach every morning, every night? Rabbi Kenson teach every morning, every night? The rabbis aren't doing it. I'm not saying they're not teaching at all, or they're not giving different types of classes, but they are not teaching.
Not spending the majority of their
They're
day.
teaching the majority of their membership. They're not doing it. And it would seem from everything that we've read until now that that's what they're supposed to be doing. הקטנים שלא הרבו תורה כראוי והם בקשים להתגדל בפני עמי הארץ ובין אנשי עירם וקופסין ויושבין בראש לדין ולהורות בישראל הן המרבין את המחלוקות והן המחריבין את העולם והמחבין נרה של התורה והמחברים כרם אדוני סבאות מעליהם אמר שלום וחוכמתו החזו לנו שועלים קטנים מחברים כרמים. Come on, Mark, you love this. You heard what he said on Rabbi now? These little Talmidim, these little students, they didn't learn much Torah. And they're just looking to seem larger than life in front of the common folk and in front of the people of their city. And they jump and they sit at the head of everything to judge and to teach and to answer. These are the people that are causing all of the strife, all the fights, all the arguments. These are the people that are destroying the world and they are extinguishing the light of the Torah. They're the ones that are trampling through the vineyards of God. Hey, grab these little foxes that are trampling through the vineyard and destroying it all. That's who they are. They're little nobodies, bunch of pipsqueaks.
It's true.
Wow.
No, if this was the law of the Ottoman land, what turned it around? What flipped everybody in a different direction? I don't understand it.
So the law of the land was Rambam when
Right.
Maran got there. For how many years?
How many years what? Was it the law of the land? Again, let's assume from 1200, so all of 1200, the entire 13th century, and the entire 14th century.
Where were his
And
books being burnt though? Just in like the Spain, France, and like that?
Yeah.
So those are the only ones that didn't accept him. But in our countries, right, you had the Yemenites that loved him and the
And
Egyptians.
North Africa and Egypt and Syria and we'll call it Palestine if you want, okay? They weren't burning in Harambam.
And when was he re-accepted by the Ashkenazim like that? Like now that they'll quote Rambam and things like that?
Nowadays it seems that Ashkenazim study Rambam more than Sephardim do.
But I'm saying, when was that? How long ago was that?
But they didn't accept Ashkenazim didn't accept him in the same way. They study him like he's another commentary
But
on.
they still criticize the fact that he didn't. They say he didn't.
But not
say
as
his
the
sources.
posik, as the.
Now, that's the real question. When did they start changing the text to make him look wrong?
Well, we know of certain instances where they did change it. Okay? Especially with the Chut Sefer Torah. We know for a fact they changed it because what Harambam wrote didn't match the Sefer Torah they had. So they said it must be a typo in Harambam, so they changed it. They didn't think that their Sefer Torah wasn't following Harambam. Oh, this is a fact. Yeah. I even heard Professor Sid Lyman discussed it once in one of his lectures.
Sure.
Now, this is just a question that I have. I don't have an answer for it. What changed everything from all the people, all the rabbis following Rambam to all of a sudden not following Rambam? And it seems to have happened overnight.
Has anything to do with the Kabbalists?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Remember before Rosh Hashanah, we had the class on Simanim that we eat.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that, as I recall, my cousin asked, how did eating the apple become so popular?
Right.
And you said because the Torah wrote books.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you write books that are published and disseminated,
sure, your words get out there and people follow your ideas.
So there probably, maybe there were, I don't know.
But Rambam was already out there.
Right, but then maybe there were books that people were reading that came into conflict with what Rambam was saying.
But again, all that is all fine and well. But if somebody of the stature of Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote explicitly that Rambam is the law of the land.
Yeah, but then he shouldn't have written another code.
But then again, we discussed that before, and my contention still is that his intention with Shulchan Aruch was just to bring the people together, to find one book, because he knew there were different people following different things. Let's just find a way to unite everybody, and that's why you have Sitam and Yesh and Veyesh, and once in a while, and sometimes he'll bring the halacha. He'll just say Veharosh Omer. Sometimes he'll just say, Ramban out of nowhere. He'll just bring halacha ke Ramban. Let's find a way to just unite the people.
It has to be from his time when he got in there. He left from Spain to Israel.
He left from Spain to his parents. Left from Spain to Salonika, and from Salonika he came to. And
how many Jews came from the Rosh area when he's living into Spain and had those opinions that they're bringing in there? So that's when he had to do it. The law of the land started to change. Doesn't make sense?
Not enough. It's not enough because they're coming to...
They came in, we had the greatest rabbi, the Rosh, in there, and he's going up against the Rambam.
But you're coming to a land where there is already a Jewish population.
How many people were in Israel and how strong was it?
Israel itself was not...
It's very weak.
Fine, but the Ottoman Empire... Within the Ottoman Empire, each major city had a Jewish community.
But they were being persecuted.
We know the Sephardim took over. I still don't understand it though.
You got to go through the actual history of those times.
I've tried. I've yet to find anything that really pinpoints, what happened and how.
I think Harambam requires a little more thought. Where Shulchan like
no,
it's a little detailed. It's more detailed, I think.
I don't think so at all.
No? Sometimes more about the practical.
Open up, let's say, for example, Hilchot Begillah.
No, it's not.
Compare Rambam to Haruch.
It's not as elaborate.
No, sorry, I don't think
it's not that much more elaborate.
No,
but let's say you take something like Hilchot Sukkah, it's Halachas Sukkot, about making Kiddush, when you stand, this and that.
It's a certain...
Harambam's very concise, he says... Say the Kiddush, and then you say the Sheva Sukkah, then sit.
When were the printing presses started? What year?
Yeah, but he said he gives you...
Printing presses started in 1400s. I don't remember.
So that's the same time period also. Maybe that changed it a little bit.
It wasn't enough being printed yet.
But Maran wanted to change things, no?
He wanted to unite the people.
He wanted to unite.
Ezra's not participating anymore.
He wanted to unite.
I think Aaron addressed this a little bit.
Where?
A little bit?
Didn't he?
Your life is dedicated.
Who's Aaron?
It was only a matter of time till that name came up.
No, but I recall... Maybe things he's voting...
Everything they say is dedicated to this topic.
Rambam,
Why?
And then how Maran killed everything.
Yeah, but
we're not talking about Maran killing anything over here.
I'm not either, but that's their
there. He was over there.
Yeah, I think it's him.
interpretation of
You have to
what
understand.
Bauer believes, which I don't think is what he believes.
There was a lot more right than anybody else.
Yeah, much.
It's alright. He'd be proud to be, Kanai for Harambam. For Harambam, Aaron is very, very proud to.
He follows him, wouldn't you say? Pretty much.
I don't know Aaron well enough.
Right, I think
You're his brother-in-law. You tell us.
Yeah.
Does he have the apple? That's the question. Did he have the apple?
He's pretty consistent.
By the way, I asked him.
him.
First of all, he eats. He doesn't usually have Rosh Hashanah at his house. He usually comes to Brooklyn, either just to be with the family. That's what Sally likes. Sarah.
Rosh Hashanah, he's here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where's your prayer?
That's a good question.
Is that
Home, I know home.
Practical to follow everything in this book because there's so many other aspects of life.
No, it's practical to follow everything in here. Plus, you add
exactly.
right?
As long as it doesn't contradict what's in here,
Right.
It's fine.
But he's saying don't.
Right.
There is no plus.
That's it.
Right, that's why Maran will give you every minhag that was around at the time, and Harambam won't, because it's a legal code. And that's why I think it became more popular, because it's more it's like the manual, not for dummies, but it's just more it has everything. Like what Yalkut Yosef is today, I think that's what Maran was back then.
Avdil, a million Avdallah.
No, I mean that it's for more. I think it's more for the masses. Harambam Record doesn't have all the minhagim. He doesn't have. You need a teacher for that to tell you what the minhag is and everything. Maran's writing all the minhagot at the time.
Oh.
That was my opinion.
And he's concise. Maran's concise.
Maran's very concise. We're used to seeing these big books of Shulchan Aruch. But go look at the Shulchan Aruch. Just the same way you're looking at 2 columns in Rambam over here. That's what Shulchan Aruch was too.
Yeah.
2 columns down pages.
That's it.
And the Shulchan Aruch was about the same size as this, and that was it. Not a big deal at all.
They should start printing it also like this. The same publisher should start doing it.
This publisher's not going to do that. This publisher is only interested in Rambam.
Was that right?
That's it. ואסור לו לתלמיד לקרוא לרבו בשמו. It's forbidden for the Talmid to call his rabbi by his name. ואפילו שלא בפניו, and even not in his presence. ולא יזכיר שמו בפניו, and should not mention his name in his presence. ואפילו לקרוא לאחרים ששמם כשם רבו, even to call others whose name is the same as their rabbi's name. You can't do that in front of him. كدرك שעושה בשם أبيه, the same way you can't do with your father's name. إلا يشنه شمان وأفلو لأحر موتان. Rather, you should change the name, and even if after the rabbi passes away, you should still, call them slightly differently than the exact name that the rabbi was. והוא שיהיה השם פלי. שכל השומע ידע שהוא פלוני. I don't get it. Pili, what's pili?
I don't know. I thought it means pilak.
That's probably why they gave all the rabbis. That's probably
Pali with a
Pali?
Yeah, with a kamas.
Pali. Over here is pi.
Yeah.
I don't know
what that word means.
Is that why they gave all the rabbi nicknames like?
Different gear, son.
This is from the Mamre.
Well, each one of the rabbis, good. They all have a name. The Chida, the this, the that.
Oh, sorry.
Cool deal.
I thought it was Wonder Pili, but I don't get it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was thinking that first, but it doesn't seem to make sense.
Yours is different though.
It is different.
Well, what do you have in there?
Shem.
Pause it a minute.
Peloni.
The change name is the Peloni.
What is Peloni?
זהו שתברת רבי כתב פרק 60 מהלכות ממרים לא יקרא בשמו ולא בחייו ולא אחר ולא אלא אומר אבא מרי היה שם אביו או שם רבו כשם אחרים שני שמם יראה לי שאין נזהר בכך אלא בשם שהוא פלא שנקוד דשינבו. השמות שקוראים בהם את העם, כגון אברהם, ישעיהו ויעקב וכי יוסף, בכל לשון, בכל זמן, קורא בהם לאחרים שלא בפניו. Okay. Shupiri means it's a very specific type of name, a name that like stands out, that everybody knows. It's not a common name like Abraham, Ishaq, Yaakov. Okay, it's a common name, everybody uses it, this and that. But then you say, Yosef, Yosef, you know, it's like Yosef, everybody thinks you're talking about Yosef. So now if you have another guy whose name happens to be Yosef, call him, you know, Abudi Yusuf. Call him something slightly different so, you know, you differentiate.
So but you can't call your son Ovadia from that, you know, having the same name.
Again, it would seem that you shouldn't. Okay, it says right here that okay, you can't do it. But maybe if you get permission, like you said before, with the teaching, so maybe you can it.
Wait, which Shem should be Peli though? How are you reading it? Who Shiesh Hashem Peli is who?
Who Shiesh Hashem Peli. If in other words, if it's a wondrous name, in other words, a very distinguished name, a name that's not a common name, okay? Because anybody's going to hear it, they're going to think, oh, you're talking about this guy. So you have to make that distinction. That's what I'm thinking he means over here. Based upon the case of. But now again, we generally don't follow this because the same way that all this exists a halakha for a parent, we don't do it because, let's say, my son has my father's name.
You're going to call your son,
and I call my son his name Eli in front of my father, and and everybody does that. So we don't really follow that as far as our parents are concerned. So now what?
You're supposed to, instead of calling my son Abe, I call him Abi.
Mm-hmm.
You distinguish the name.
You never call your son Abraham?
I'm Abraham, but...
Your father's Abraham.
Not in front of my father, though. Not in front of my father.
No?
Try not to.
He's named after him next.
But why not? Why do you try
Permission
not to?
again.
Because of this halakha.
But your father's proud to have his grandson named exactly his name.
And if you didn't name him Abe, he'll kill you.
So maybe you'll say
proud. It's not.
Maybe
it's not respectful.
But
for the person who's calling that.
But
that's him. He's happy. When you say it, he's probably happy.
Case,
he's not upset. He's happy.
He's happy. He finds it.
Doesn't matter if he's happy. It doesn't matter if he's happy or upset.
No, but he finds it to be respectful. But he finds it to be respectful.
It is, yeah.
In his eyes,
it's a cultural issue.
Right. Your son is named after your father, right?
Correct.
When your father hears that, my son named his son after me, that for you, that's a sign of honor and respect.
That's our community thing.
Right. So anytime you're calling your kid,
okay.
But anytime you call your kid by that name with your father there,
most of it custom.
And it seems to be an ancient custom also. A bangam li'er, a banshivum bangam li'er, a bangam li'er. That's what it is.
Right.
So
you can't say it's just okay because he likes it. No, it's honor and respect. Because if you didn't do it, it would be disrespectful.
So you would say that case goes without saying.
And if you call the kid the wrong name and not that name, he'll kill you.
So we'll say that case goes without saying because you could say the father's mohel kibodo or ahirim doesn't apply to his grandson. Ahirim,
But here it's not a matter of if you're honoring.
I understand what you're saying.
If he feels honored or not. The question is it respectful to call your father by his first name?
But can you call your friend in front of your father? It has the same name. You can't. That's what he's really saying.
That's what he's saying because it's not respectful to call your father by his first name.
Right. Well, I would still say that halakha applies though. Just it doesn't apply to
also.
No, it still applies, but not to his grandson. It's not going to apply to his grandson. It's sort of like the kabod of naming the grandson after him overrules this halakha. It's a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
So if Abe Dweck, if I had a friend Abe and he's in front of my father, if I called Abe, it wouldn't be nice. It would be that's disrespectful. Right. I have to change. I would say Mr. Dweck.
In the case of your son,
or I would say Abe Dweck. Like maybe I could say that. I'm not sure. I'm just saying.
Like Charlie Brown.
Ibrahim.
Right.
Charlie Brown.
Ibrahim. I know someone with that name.
הרמב"ם in Sefer Shofetim in הלכות ממרים פרק 6 הלכה ג' איזה הוא מורה ואיזה הוא כבוד. Talking about a parent. Okay, what is mora, what is fear, and what is kebod, what is honor? Mora, lo omed b'mkomo, velo yoshev b'mkomo. You don't stand in his spot, you don't sit in his spot. Velo soter et devarav, velo machriya et devarav. Now you do not disagree with what he says, and you don't come out with another ruling, or not ruling, but say differently than him. Velo yikra lo b'shmo. Lo b'hayav, velo b'moto. You do not call him by his name. Not while he's alive, not when he's dead. When he's dead. Illa omer, Abba Mori. Okay? That's what you say. Abba Mori. What could you say? Dad. Haya Shem Abiv. Or Shem Rabbo. Ke Shem Ahirim. If the name of his father, or the name of his rabbi, is a similar, same name as others, Mishaneh et Shemam. You change their name. Okay? In other words, if your father's name is Joe and your friend is Joe, don't call your friend Joe.
Right, just don't be friendly with him, okay?
Tell him I'm changing your name.
Joe.
I call you Bob.
Yeah.
Yosef or
Dib.
Joseph or
Okay. Yo, Gindi. Okay. Okay, now look at it. Here it comes again with the Pelid. Is it coming up?
Yeah, it's a lot clearer here.
Yira'eli she'en nizhar bechach illa b'shem shehu peli. She'en hakol dashin bo. It seems to me she'en nizhar bechach, not careful with this, except in the case that the name is Peli.
The rabbi's name is Peli.
It's a unique name.
It's a unique name.
It's a unique name, right? That not everybody uses it. It's not commonly used. Well, shemot shekorim b'hem kol ha'am, but names that are commonly used by everybody. Kigon Abraham, Yitzhak v'Yaakov, Moshe v'Aaron, Bechai Yosef b'hem, and other similar names. Bechol lashon, bechol zeman, every language, any place. Koreh b'hem la'aharim shlo b'fanav. Then, not in front of him, you could use that name and call him. V'en b'kach kilum. Okay, but now if it's a very, very distinct name, then you can't use it. Okay, so now if your rabbi's name, for example, is Horatio, and you happen to know a guy, Horatio, you can't call him Horatio, call him Harris.
You have 10 guys you know that are Joe, you can't rename your 10 Joes.
What do you mean?
Like what he's saying is, like it's a common name.
If it's a common name, then you could say it, but not in front of him.
Gotcha.
Alright? But if it's a non-common name, Horatio or the Hachanzi, in other words, it's a name that, it's going to stick out. That's the Peli. We found it.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's all on the bomb.
It's all there.
See, David? Ezra.
It's brilliant.
Alright. שואל השומע ידע שופטים ולא ייתן שלום לרבו הוא יחזיר לו שלום כדי שומעים הרעים ומחזירים זה לזה אלא שוחד לפניו. You don't say hello, goodbye, to the rabbi. Say what you do to everybody else. Hey, I'll see you later. You respect, you give a slight bow. You're not your buddy, that you just finished playing ball with. You don't, high five him on the street. You don't pat him on the back. You have to act with him in a different manner. You have to tell him with honor, with respect, with a certain amount of fear. Obviously, not scared fear, but respectful fear. Shalom aleichem Rabbi. Im natan lo Rabbo shalom. If your rabbi tells you shalom first, he greets you first. Yahzir lo shalom aleichem Rabbi umari. Everything has to be done in good taste, proper respect. Vav. V'chen lo yahalos tefillav b'fnei Rabbo. You cannot take off your tefillin in front of your rabbi.
Wow.
That's why, don't pray the same meal.
I was about to say. Yeah.
Okay, you cannot take off your tefillin in front of your rabbi. V'lo yesib, you cannot recline. Illa yosheb ki yoshev lefnei hamelech, but you must sit like you're sitting in front of a king. V'lo yitpalel lefnei rabbo, you cannot pray in front of your rabbi. V'lo la'achar rabbo, and not in back of your rabbi. V'lo b'sad rabbo, not on the side of your rabbi. V'en tzarich lomar she'asur lo lehalech b'siddo, and we don't even have to mention not walking on his side. You have to distance yourself from your rabbi. And you cannot be facing exactly with his back. And then pray. You cannot enter the bathhouse together with your rabbi. All this is disrespectful.
But you can't. If you can't pray, you can't pray with him then.
No, without praying in the same room. In other words, we're talking about saying the Amidah. You cannot say the Amidah. Here's the rabbi. You can't say the Amidah in front of him. And you can't say it right in back of him. You can't say it inside him. In other words, here's the rabbi. So go over here and say the Amidah.
Do inside the room or something.
Yeah.
That's
what it means.
It's like real, Eastern respect.
Yeah.
Real
100%.
hardcore.
And he's not going to mention don't talk in front of him either during prayers. Not going to mention that either.
But if you try, he'd smack you. No, but again, there is a certain level of respect that's, for the most part, gone nowadays.
It's true. You see a few have certain elements of it, but...
Okay, but for the most part, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make a difference whether it's here, whether it's in Israel, whether it's in the yeshiva world. It's gone, for the most part.
Well, yeshiva world doesn't have it, they do have it.
No, they don't. They all like to be as close to the Rabbi as possible when he's praying. They want to pray next to him, that way that the tefillah goes up together with him.
Oh,
no, I mean it seriously.
That's what they think.
I thought they were praying too.
That's great.
Some of them are.
I didn't mean the Rabbi. No, but I'm talking seriously. Think about it, David. Go back ages ago, back in Murray Yeshiva. Did they all try to be close to him when he was praying, or far away from him?
They had their spots.
And those guys that were in the spots right there next to him, all the way in the front corner over there. Come on. Well, not really the corner, front by the, you know where they were.
You have to have that amor.
Let's finish up this halakha. Lo yeshev imkum rabbo. Cannot sit, obviously, in your rabbi's seat. Lo yechri' debara befanav. Like we said before, you can't, we'll call it contradict him, in a sense. Okay, and that was that first teshuvah that we read from Rabbi Shimon a few weeks ago. Lo yistor debarav. You cannot argue against him. Lo yeshev lefanav. Aad shiomar lo sheb. And you cannot even sit down in front of him until he tells you, sit down. V'lo ya'amod b'lefanav ad she'omar lo amod. And if you think you finished your conversation, whatever, and you want to get up and leave, you cannot until he tells you, get up. Or ad she'tol reshut la'amod, or until you ask permission. And when you leave his presence, lo yahazir lo ahurav. Do not turn your back to him. إلا نرتع لا حراب وفناف كين بناف. But you basically walk backwards. هو مشير إنه من حق ملو عناب عاش يتكسر منه بلو يرئي قومته من حق أخي شيء بحياة بدلنا كبير بين أبو بريغل. So a person has to stand up in front of his rabbi from whatever point he sees him with his entire eye. Now, okay, from the top of my eye, I see him over here, but I can see him clearly with my eyes. I can see him until I can no longer see him. You must stand up fully, not just a little, a bow and you see it like that. No. Okay, okay. And then you can sit down again. And the rabbi and the person needs to go greet his rabbi on the holidays.
Okay.
Who does that?
That's why you have. Wait, it's in the Gemara. They talk about stories where the Hacham, he's on Kippur. The whole discussion is, can he cross the river on Yom Kippur to go see his rabbi? It's like because whether it's that, things like that. So amazing.
Put, a lot of what we've read until now into perspective.
See, I think until like the 50s, even a lot of these things, these types of respect are there for the father at least. And you go into somebody's office, you wait for them to tell you. Wait for them
to publish it.
You go to somebody's office, you wait for them to tell you to sit.
Yes.
Yet there was always that decorum.
Even until maybe 1960, 65 even.
It's just
until the hippies and Vietnam and all that. That's really what changed the world. The Cultural Revolution.
Yeah, 60s.
Everything changed. Till the Beatles came with the rock. Rolling Stones,
and the drugs.
They threw out the Arabic music,
Mm-hmm. No, but the world definitely has very little respect compared to what it was. In the 60s, the early 60s at least, people used to get up, dressed up in their finest clothing, to travel by plane.
Yeah, right.
Good night.
That's right. They used to get dressed in suits and stuff,
sure.
For sure. Every time they felt cute. It was a big thing. Now it's not big deal.
Yeah,
no big deal. Why would you wear a suit to go on a plane to get creased?
They used to do it.
Want to be comfortable.
Because the seats were wider back then. Everything, you weren't crammed in. You had empty seats next to you. You got served, meals on fine china.
Everybody went to work in a suit, and everybody had a hat.
Sure.
Everything was very, sure.
50s for sure.
Even the 60s, everybody did.
Yeah.
And I go to work in shorts when I go to Florida. Collared shirt, though. Put a collared shirt on.
It's different. אין חלקין כבוד לתלמיד בפני הרב אלא אם כן היה דרך רבו לחלוק לו כבוד. So we don't show signs of honor to the student in front of the rabbi, unless of course it's the way of the rabbi himself to give this student certain כבוד. וכל מלאכות שהעבד עושה לרבו, תלמיד עושה לרבו, and any sort of actions that a slave would do for his master, a talmid does for his rabbi. ואם היה במקום שאין מכירים אותו ולא היו לו תפילין, and if you're in a place where they don't know him, he's unrecognizable, and he doesn't have tefillin, וחש שמי יאמרו עבדו, maybe they're going to say, this guy's עבד, אינו נועל לו מנעלו ולא חלסו. So in such a place, you don't want people to think you're a slave, so you do not help the rabbi put on or take off his shoes, because that's something that shows, the lowest level of servitude, that everybody knows you're a slave, but they see that you don't do that, so they'll realize that you are not a slave. וכל המונע תלמידו מן לשמשו, and any in other words, any rabbi who prevents his student from serving him, مونع منه حسد, you're preventing the student from doing حسد, from doing kindness. وفورك منه يراد شمائم, and you are removing from him Yirat Shamayim, because you say, I don't have to do it, the rabbi don't let me, he's getting touched a little haughty.
It's part of his training.
Yeah.
Your training of your student, you have to let him serve you. I saw the Karate Kid.
בכל תלמיד שמזלזל בדבר מכל כבוד רבו, and any תלמיד that belittles and makes fun of any matter that is an issue of kavod rabbo, the honor of his rabbi, גורם לשכינה שתסתלק מישראל, he causes the Shekhinah to move itself away from Israel. طيب رأى يتربوا عبير عبد البيت ولا. He saw his rabbi transgress the words of the Torah. אומר לו, למתנו רבנו כך וכך? Rabbi, didn't you teach us A, B, C, D? וכל זמן שמזכיר שמועה בפניו, and any time that he mentioned something that he heard in front of him, אומר לו, כך למתנו רבנו. Rabbi, this is what you taught us. You always have to say that, Rabbi, this is what you taught us, this is what we heard from you, this is what you mentioned to us. Okay? ואל יאמר דבר שלא שמע מרבו, and he should never say something that he did not hear from his rabbi. עד שיזכיר שם אומרו, until he mentions the name of the person who said it. So in other words, David, this goes back to what you were saying, that they mention the name of whatever rabbi, whatever it is. So now if you're in front of your rabbi, you can't say, Rabbi, I heard this from Rabbi so-and-so. No. You have to say, Rabbi, I heard in the name of so-and-so, I heard from so-and-so, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know, whatever the case may be. You always have to mention the person's name first, so the Hacham doesn't get the wrong message right away. Well, what are you telling me this? I didn't tell you I told you that. And then he doesn't, at the end, you know, if they're all pissed off at you, oh, you're saying somebody else's name. Okay, what did you say? Tell him from the head.
Yeah,
go,
they do that,
go. You know,
that they do.
He's telling you though what to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we do what we don't do. He's letting you know the proper way to do it. And when his rabbi, his teacher dies, his rabbi dies, he entirely rips his clothing. He does kiri'ah. And he has to actually reveal his skin, where the heart is. How would you translate me'aheh? In other words, let's say, for example, Joe Schmo over here is going to do kiri'ah because his rabbi died. You never, same way like a parent, if a parent dies, you know the guy's going to do kiri'ah. There's no way you're stopping him. Mm-hmm. The same thing over here. Don't even consider stopping him. Don't consider, trying to talk him out of it. Don't consider, maybe you don't have to. He's not really your rabbi. Don't even talk to him about it.
Okay.
And that's what the me'aheh is.
What's the shortest of the word? I don't even know. I've never. I don't know.
Once you rip it for the rabbi, you rip your clothing, you do the kiri'ah for the rabbi, you never re-stitch it, re-sew it back together. You leave it separated, the ulam ba'id. But medevarim amurim, what are we talking about? Rabbo mubhak. With his Rabbo mubhak. In other words, we'll call his premier rabbi. I can't think of a better term. Shelamad mimenu rob chokhmato. That he learned from him the majority of his Torah, of his chokhmah, of his wisdom. But if he did not learn the majority of his chokhmah from him, hareze talmid habir. He's talmid habir. Ve'eno hayab bichbodo bechol hadevarim ha'elu. And he is not obligated in all these honors that we mentioned. But he must stand. And he must rip. Same way you would have to rip for any person who passed away that you would need to do abedut for. Even if you only learn from him one thing, something small, something big, something great, makes no difference. You must stand for him and you must rip for him.
Okay.
So
standing we all do. The ripping doesn't really happen.
Well, this is the bimubhak. My question.
No, we're saying not the bimubhak.
Oh.
Yes, you saw that again?
If he taught you even one.
You learn one thing from him, but then you learn one thing from a lot of guys.
Tamid Haver, you have to be Korea for. You're saying?
Yeah.
שם שהוא קורא על כל המתים שהוא מתאבל עליהם. לא מאמין על הדבר אחד. So, anybody who gives me a nice, hidush or into something, we have to do kiriyah for.
This definitely sarich ayun.
Sarich ayun. Harambam is like, he also, in regard to avelut, he says that in front of the parents, when the parents are mourning, the children should be in mourning also in front of them. They should
sit on the floor and stuff?
Yeah, and they do, and they don't bathe and things like that. Oh. So Harambam's, it's interesting.
Wow.
Now I have a question about the halachot up until the Rabbi Muvhak from before.
Okay. Should we go back to that, or should we finish the last few
No, I just want to ask the question, and then we can go back.
Yeah,
all the halachot before about that when we're referring to Rabbo, are we talking about Rav Muvhak?
It would seem so from what he said here.
But he's only mentioning this in regard.
במה דברים אמונים ברבו מובהק שלמד ממנו חוכמתו ואם לא למד ממנו רוב חוכמתו הרי זה תמיד חביב ואינו חייב בכבודו בכל הדברים האלו.
Okay. So
if he is תמיד חביב, he's not חייב in the honor of all these things.
Right.
That's what it would seem.
Yeah, so it seems that we're talking about it be muvhak. Okay, good. That was a good reading. Good diuk.
יוד לכל תלמיד חכמים שדעותיו מכוונות אינו מדבר בפני מישהו גדול ממנו בחוכמה אף על פי שלא למד ממנו כלום. Any חכם who has clear intellect does not what?
De'otav is not necessarily intellect, is it?
His thoughts, his ideas, his thinking.
Isn't it character traits? De'ot.
Right.
Oh, that really is a Tamid Hacham. Anyway, De'ot are good. Okay. I'm sorry.
Either way it would work.
Okay.
He does not speak in front of somebody who's greater than him in Chokhmah, even if he never learned anything from him. Nowadays we don't know how to shut up. Everybody has to open up and and throw in their 2 cents. Well,
we always think society thinks the quiet people are imbeciles.
Right.
And everybody who talks is. I should really stop.
But we know that. But we know from the Mishnah mentioned that the person who's always opening up the mouth usually is the biggest idiot. He's trying to show the little that they know.
Right.
Things. Can we apply what he's saying here today for us?
Why not? In what sense?
Well, so he's basing it here just on knowledge, it seems, right? Like if the person is a bigger chacham than you, that's good enough. It's not whether or not you respect him or or anything like that. Okay.
There's nothing to do with respect.
Fair enough.
If you happen to be at a table, let's say, with somebody that is known that he has more wisdom than you, basically sit back, shut up. Don't open your mouth unless you're addressed. That's really what it boils down to.
Even in a social venue. And he seems to make it a blanket statement. You're right. It's not talking about in a formal venue like yeshiva or in shi'ur or
nothing,
in the
biddi. On this last Friday night when I went to my cousin's bar mitzvah in Queens, and a Chabad rabbi got up and he was giving a whatever at dinner time, and I closed my ears because I was trying to focus on something I was reading. Would that be considered disrespectful?
If you're reading something in front of him, he could see you, everybody could see you.
People could see me, yeah.
That's disrespectful, yeah.
But then again, I don't think he's a chacham.
Okay, but it's still disrespectful.
That's true. But what if he's not a chacham?
The definition is still disrespectful.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm in a room where President Obama is speaking. I don't like the guy. But if I'm sitting there texting away to do something, it's disrespectful.
True.
That's all. Right?
How do that?
Yeah.
You don't do it in a meeting, do you?
No, because they're paying me.
Okay.
I'll do whatever you want if you pay me. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You heard him. Whatever you want if you're paying. Harab hamubhak. שרסה למחול על כיבודו בכל הדברים האלו או באחד מהן לכל תלמידיו או לאחד מהן הרשות בידו. The Rabbi Bak that wants to forego his honor in any of these things that we mentioned, or even just for one of these things, for all of his students, or for just one of his students, he has the permission to do as he sees fit. And even though he foregoes his honor, حياب التلميذ لهدره. Still, the student must glorify him. وَأَفِلُّوا بِشَعَاشِ مَحَالٍ. And even at that same moment when the Hakam said, pass, you don't have to do it, he still has to make a fuss over it anyway. The student still has to, make a big deal. Yod Bet. כשם שהתלמידים חייבים בכבוד הרב, כך הרב צריך לכבד את תלמידיו ולקרבם. The same way the talmidim, the students, are obligated to honor the rabbi has to respect his students and draw them near. כך אמרו החכמים, יהי כבוד תלמידיך חייב עליך כשלחבריך. The honor of your students has to be dear to you like that of your friends. וצריך אדם להיזהר בתלמידיו ולאהבם. And you have to be careful with your students and to love them. שאין הבנים המהנים בעולם הזה ולעולם הבא. These are your sons. These are your children. That they get the enjoyment in this world and in the next world. Yod what? It's powerful. It's like you didn't even start to the Hachamim also.
Yeah.
Don't think of you think of the Hacham now, and you're going to have a bunch of servants, and they're going to glorify you, and they're going to put you up on a pedestal, and hello. You have an obligation to them. They're human beings, and they deserve proper respect as well, and they deserve love, and they deserve to be brought close to you, and not felt like like dirt or trash. They're doing you the honor, you do them the honor too.
Lose your arrogancy.
100%. Yod Gimel, final halakha for this perek. התלמידים מוסיפים חוכמת הרב ומרחיבים ליבו. The talmidim, the students, they're the ones that increase the wisdom of the rabbi, and they're the ones who broaden his horizons. Because they're the ones who ask him questions. They're the ones who question what he's doing and how he's acting. And if it wasn't for them, he would be some nerd in some corner, some table someplace. They made him what he is.
They sharpened him also.
100%. Amru Hachamim. What did the Hachamim say? Harbe Chokhmah Lamati. I learned a lot of Chokhmah. Mehaberai Yatem Rabbotai. From my friends more than from my rabbis. Umitalmidai, and from my students, Yatem Kullam. From my students more than all of them.
True.
Okay? Mehaberai, from my friends, more than Rabbotai, more than my masters, more than my rabbis. Umitalmidai, from my students, more than all of them. Ukhshem, Sha'is Qata Madlikat Gadol. In the same way, a small shrub, if you will, that's on fire, can ignite a larger one. Kach Talmid Qatan Mahaddid Harab, like Maki just said. Small student can sharpen the rabbi. عاد شيوسيم منه بشيلوته حكمة من فوقها until it can extract from the rabbi wondrous wisdom. Two-way street. We need the Hachamim need us.